All right, guys, we made it to week 17. Right as we were going on, Gretch goes, this is the anti-sauce show. We are going to be celebrating all the ship-chasing teams that have made it to the big money rounds. What did you say we're going to go with, Gretch? Syrup? Or are we going to call it the syrup
Pat
show?
called it syrup. Yeah,
I said, what's the anti-sauce? Syrup? I guess,
Yeah.
that's one option.
Yeah, please syrup me. We're all gonna goo over these teams.
I don't think it's quite there, but
I mean, you guys did so well all year. Not what was the running joke for best ballers? Not
the FBI
fantasizing over redacted, and I don't know what'd you call it? FBI? I don't. I don't have a lot of my own best ball teams, so I'm out of the loop.
Well,
you know what the FBI is? But
yeah, are you familiar with the FBI? You can't talk
Federal
about
Bureau of Investigation.
Yeah,
it's against the law to talk about your best ball team.
Investigation.
We should also welcome our featured guest, Michael Leone, back to the program. Mike, thank you for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Let's get into some best ball sweats.
Yeah, I love it.
That's right. Yeah, no, what Gretch is referring to is, when the season is going, we can't be, talking about our best ball teams. We have DFS to focus on, we have very hard start sit decisions to focus on, but now is the time. This is the time to celebrate. And I will say, I put a thread in the Discord today, and we're going to review some of your guys' rosters, but it was super cool to see how many of you guys had made the finals across all of these different contests, the puppies, BBM2, War Room, FBG, FFPC, best ball. So congratulations to you guys. You guys all had a monster year. So I think some victory laps are in order. And then we just let the gambling gods let the dice roll.
I want to know how many of these were drafted on stream with us. Making terrible picks, because I think we were pretty plus EV for the.
We must have been incredibly plus EV for the listeners.
That's right. I mean, the one team that I have in the BBM2 finals is a team I drafted with Bime4 on my stream, which hopefully helps debunk that, drafting with streamers is fishy there, but it can go either way for sure. Let's pull this up. Sorry, Leone here. I didn't mean to catch you with your screen share pants down here. Is this the football guys or fantasy football players championship?
Yeah, this is the FFPC $125 entry best ball finals. 12 teams make the finals, and some friends are in the finals. Drico Connor, who writes for RotoViz, has an absolute monster of a team.
So
he's
good.
Probably the favorite. He's got this Burrow double stack with 8, and he was one of the few teams that I think he's the only team with AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. So he's like loaded, and he's pretty unique here. So his team's loaded. My team's pretty good. I have a huge differentiation in that 11 teams have Mark Andrews, and I'm the only team with George Kittle. There are some Andrews teams that have like other good tight ends, like Chad Schroeder made the final, who's just always in the finals, it feels like, in high stakes stuff, but he's got Kelsey with Andrews, which is interesting. And then Sean Siegel and Colin Kelly, they have their team in here as well, a JT Anchor running back team. But the FFPC one's interesting because there's a lot of unique builds with the double flex, the tight end premium, and also the advancing is a little less strict than Underdog, where the playoff weeks 3 out of 12 are advancing each week. So you have a little bit of leeway. So with the exception of Mark Andrews, you actually do get a pretty good variety of players in this final.
Yeah, Drico in one of our Deposit Kingdom threads had posted his team and kind of the ownership. And yeah, 11 of 12 teams have Mark Andrews, one Mr. Michael Leone, the only non-Mark Andrews team. So is it safe to say you're anti-sweating Mark Andrews this weekend?
Yeah, Kittle versus Andrews will be something. It's you clearly can't plan for this in best ball, but I'm at the very least I'm highly leveraged here. I'm the only Dak team, the only Swift team, so I'm feeling good. I think my EV's in a good spot. I'm either going to come in last or first. That's what we're going for.
Yeah, the other really nice thing that Drico has, he's the only team with Sony Michel. And he's one of 2 teams with Dalvin Cook, who were able to sneak through last week without Dalvin Cook playing. He was activated today off the COVID list. So yeah, Drico, as far as like top to down roster, looks like a loaded guy. But that Mark Andrews kind of, leverage for you seems pretty big.
Who do the Vikings play? Yeah, the interesting is amazing.
Packers Sunday Night Football.
So, because he has both Cook and Jefferson, obviously Thielen out again. I mean, that could just he needs that game to explode. I was wondering if he had anybody on the other side, but he doesn't.
No, I've got Devontae. There's a few Devontae teams. There's actually only 2 Cup teams. I'm one of 2 Cup teams, so I've got that going for me.
That's nice.
Really surprising. He had like an average game for him last week, but it's still a really good game. So I was pretty surprised by that one as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of Adams teams made it. But really, like after Andrews, I think the most anyone has is like 4. So it's mixed up here. Pretty nice. But yeah, Drico's team, the combination of the fact that he has guys that he's the only one who has, like AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson, and his team is the highest projected team, most likely. Regardless of uniqueness, he's in a pretty good spot.
Those wide receivers are, I mean, even just having Josh Palmer there is just like such a random needle on the end.
Health-wise too, me and Drico have run pretty pure. Like he lost Mostert, but that's it. Gabe Davis is going to come back off COVID. Dalvin's back off COVID. On my team, if I'm getting Swift back, like I'm pretty close to fully healthy here. So that goes a long way too. Like just having, just more darts than other teams just off.
Getting Dalvin through that's pretty sweet.
I know. I had 2 Dalvin teams go down. Actually, not last week, the week before. I had 3 teams make the quarters, and 2 of them had Dalvin, and they both. One was like a Dalvin mix-in, like robust RB team that like just barely went down, and I was pretty sad by that.
Go ahead, Ben.
Well, I was just gonna say, I think this is really interesting to look at these teams in the context of a lot of the conversations we had in the summer. I know we've already done some of this stuff, but like the ideas of like you had to draft like you're right and all that. Like Leone's pointing out that these teams don't have a lot of guys that are out, and there are a lot of guys that are out, from August drafts or whenever these were drafted. So you did kind of have to be right almost everywhere, at least health wise, right? You had to have guys that were at least playing, not necessarily studs the whole season, but there's an element of that. And I don't know. I just think that's interesting in terms of draft strategy when you're thinking about it from the front, that like you kind of do need to have all your guys make it a good chunk of the season.
You also,
right?
If you go down that last team there, this team's interesting because you have JT, just a total stud, but then you also have Connor, Harris, and Fournette kind of like emerging as studs at different points in the season.
Yeah.
Like different weeks. So you have this layering effect of those running backs.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was curious about the format and the fact that he has 3 quarterbacks and 3 tight ends, and some teams would do 2.
So, hashtag better to be lucky than good. I was really diligent about not missing any picks in my FFPC drafts. This was the one team I auto drafted 2 spots.
No way.
One was Ben Roethlisberger, whose score I used in the first round of the playoffs, or I would have been eliminated.
Wow.
And the other one, and I was between, and so his bye week's the same as Dak's. So I was kind of pigeonholed into taking a 3rd quarterback. And then I used Goff's score in week 2 of the playoffs. I think I would have advanced anyways. And then my other auto, I think week 2 I would advance anyways. But week 1, like I don't think I would have advanced if I didn't use Ben's score. And then Dan Arnold, I auto drafted super late. I think he might have been like near the top of my queue anyways. But he obviously helped cover a lot of weeks early.
Did you at least have like your own rankings uploaded? Could we at least give you credit for?
I think the Arnold one I might have had him roughly around there, but I don't think I was going to draft him. The Ben pick was like kind of early too, and I was super tilted because I started this team.
How early?
Exactly how I wanted. like round 12.
Wow. Well, do you know what's also, talk about the power of an elite tight end in the FFPC scoring format. Is there a single team here that didn't use a top 5 round pick on a tight end?
Well, they all have Andrews.
They all have Andrews. They all have Kittle. And then The second tight end is Hunter Henry or Dalton Schultz. I mean, those were picks you had to use what? 7th, 8th, 9th round picks on those guys?
No, Schultz was.
I got Schultz
was
around
late.
18.
So was
or
Henry.
17.
Henry was like a 12th
Schultz.
rounder.
Schultz was free in the main event.
Wow.
This was Schultz. That was like one of the big. I was talking with Sean today because I did the Road of his Overtime podcast, and he said that was the one guy he was kind of kicking himself on, but like it should have been 50-50, but Jarwin was going I know on Underdog like round 12, and Schultz was free basically the whole time. And Hunter Henry was another guy too, same situation almost. Like Jonnu was going consistently earlier than Hunter Henry. But yeah, there are some teams with like loaded. There's Pat Crane special here with Zach Ertz. There's Chad's got the Andrews Kelsey team, which is like he's cheering against Mark Andrews, really, like because 11 teams have Andrews, so he just wants Andrews to suck and to use Kelsey. But there's a Pitts Gronk Andrews team, like it is kind of interesting. There are some teams with the mid-tier tight end, but it's kind of like Andrews with another elite tight end, or late tight ends with Andrews and the late ones hit, like a Knox team here.
It's also, again,
when
you think about small sample sizes and like retrofitting, win rate analysis stuff where it's like, Andrews propelled all these teams. It's ironic that it wasn't even without Lamar, that he did this. And if you take out those Andrews, this spike week, and he performs more closer to his season long average stuff, it's really interesting to think what these playoff finalist rosters look like.
Bro, he's been a huge piece to any kind of
anywhere.
Think about it as a puzzle. Like he's the biggest piece of the puzzle. Leone, I got a question for you. As I'm thinking through this Roethlisberger 12th round auto pick again, do you think if you would have auto picked Ben Roethlisberger in the 12th round in more leagues instead of taking so much Trey Lance and Justin Fields in the 12th round, that you have more teams through?
The irony, Ben, is one, there's a Trey Lance team in the final, but two, I have 3 San Francisco pass catchers, and I don't want Trey Lance starting.
This is what Razip says. Leone's Kittle leverage is legendary, and he's got to be a little unhappy with Lance screwing him all season, then coming to play in the week that Leone doesn't want him.
Absolutely. I've had a weird year where like the rookie quarterback stuff, the rookie wide receiver stuff, and the Fournette stuff, like those 3 things are like the 3 at the top of my list that just totally buried me, but like ended up, I don't know, somehow surviving that. But most of these teams are like hero RB teams, which is kind of interesting. I definitely think, especially on FFPC with the full point per reception, you can really load up the wide receiver heavy teams, and the ADP is more favorable. Like I got Debo in round 8 on this team. He was pretty consistently going there. Like Kupp was going like late round 4 in these. But yeah, I think there's one robust running back team, but I think the rest are like hero RB teams. There's like
Chad's was a pure zero RB team, wasn't it? Like Damian Harris's first pick.
Let me see.
Oh, he has.
No, he's got Najee.
Okay.
This team, there's a team with Najee, JT, Montgomery. That's like by far the RB heaviest team. There's a Mike Davis,
was the best running back.
Mike Davis anchor RB team in the final. But yeah,
Mike Davis
is Henry the Zach Ertz team.
There is a Henry Aaron Jones team, so I guess that was kind of 2 running backs early, and a Dalvin Gibbs. So maybe there's more of a mix than I thought, actually. But it's some of these teams that did even go RB heavy early aren't necessarily like using those RBs, though they helped them get there. What were you asking, Pat?
I think Henry Muto is the Zach Ertz team.
Delaware Dragons. Henry Muto.
Oh, there you go. Look at this. I mean, talk about a friends and family draft.
I know it is funny. And Todd
awesome.
From PA, who's pretty active in best ball Twitter streets, who intentionally drafted Ben Roethlisberger. There's actually like 4 Ben Roethlisberger teams in this, because I think a lot of them.
That's so funny.
I think he helped a lot of teams through that week that he went
week
off
14
against Minnesota.
So how many teams did you end up drafting in this, Mike?
I had 11 teams.
Okay.
I had 3 get through. All 3 got through the first round of the playoffs, and then I lost 2, and then this team made it.
Nice.
Because the first round's week 14, right?
Yeah, this one started week 14, and there's a bye week, which is why
I was
like,
going
see,
to
I feel like
hypothesize that Roethlisberger was huge in week 15 because it was such a crappy week. But week 14 was like a reasonably high scoring week overall.
Well, people had guys on bye and stuff.
Okay, that's
too.
right.
Like that was like the wrinkle. Like JT, there's only 3 JT teams, and that's a combination of he was on bye in week 14,
Right.
and then he had kind of the shitty week last week.
Let's check out our NFC team while you're there. Here we can.
Well, don't mind if I do.
Real quick before we pivot, there's a lot of people saying like, how did that Derrick Henry team make it? I need to try more FFPC. I think part of the lesson of how some of these teams don't look amazing is that there is like a reasonable amount of luck involved in this format, right? Like you have to be consistently in the top 3, like you said. You don't have to be perfect necessarily, but you do have to get all the pieces like to come together each week, right? Like, would you say that's how kind of you're obviously tracking your teams? Like you're getting unexpected performances like Ben Roethlisberger that are helping you through a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't think it means that you can draft worse teams, is what I'm saying.
No, I think for the way you guys like to draft, it's definitely better to draft on FFPC because you can draft a running back early, and still just load up on wide receivers.
What do you mean by you people?
Yeah,
you know exactly what I mean by you people.
We do.
Yes,
we do.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely an element of luck with the health, like just like how the scores happen to align,
Right.
Yeah.
I think the way they align is a really big part of it. I think there's a lot of similar teams like this. That I mean, obviously, there's a lot of teams that didn't make it, but anyway.
Well, good luck to Leone, Drico, Blair, and Sean, and Calm and
Blair's
Henry.
on that team,
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, now over to NFC here, where we've checked in on this team a few times this season. We're heading into the final week. What's our total lead right now?
It's right there in
84 points.
84 points. How are we feeling about that?
411. Feeling great about it.
I feel it sounds. We should play the Dan Campbell Twitter tweet clip. That's
We
got
should.
me and
He's
Pat
the best.
all jacked up.
But
Dan Campbell, we'll go to our team, but having Swift and I mean we're healthy, which is gonna make it, barring like COVID stuff happening, which you never know. Having a healthy team to put out, it's gonna be tough for us to.
I gotta do this. I gotta make a point here. You did this during the regular season too, and you are so afraid of blowing these massive leagues. But it's funny because in DFS you told me this is not like the right way about tilting or no. What am I going to jinx us? Like,
yeah,
I just think it's funny. I think
that's sort of the energy you have.
I don't know what's happening. I feel like I'm missing something.
Ben's about to jinx us. Is about what's
Ben's
about
like
to happen.
right.
Oh
about to jinx
yeah.
us.
Why would you want to jinx us, dude? I'm pretty conservative in DFS too, but
no, you were telling me that I wasn't like tilting the right way the other day in our chat, or like a couple weeks ago in our chat. Because you're supposed to just be like, yeah, we got this, like everything, like
you weren't being positive enough.
And I feel like we need to be more hype about this.
It depends what spot you're in, Ben. If you're
it depends what spot you're in.
You got to be all hype.
We're not late swapping here, Ben.
When you're in first, you got to be stoic. You got to be even keeled. Okay, you got to be a little. So it depends what spot you're in. I mean, what do you think? What would you put the odds at? 90%, or would you think it's even higher?
Yeah, I think even higher, honestly.
Oh God.
This is going to be a clip. Like,
please don't let this be a clip.
Killing me.
I mean, you guys are saying act like you've been there before. I am. I am acting like I've been here before.
So he's probably going to play Russ, I would assume.
Yeah.
But so we're gonna, if Rojo catches us,
Oh God.
Oh, shit.
Rojo's chasing us.
Well, that's 84 points right there. So who else we got?
Well, look at that Patterson Diggs mini correlation. I mean, I'm scared.
Yeah, and then he's gonna play Russ to get the
Russ
Amon-Ra St. Brown correlation. Oh, Patterson, Diggs, and Pitts. He's got the game stack.
Oh, we're
pretty
Terry
good team
McLaurin's due. Actually, thank God for Terry McLaurin sucking, because this actually would be like a little like decently close if McLaurin had done anything these playoffs. I should go.
He handcuffed Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette there.
The thing is, it's not just an 80-point lead. I mean, again, sorry, but it's not just an 80-point lead. It's an 80-point lead over 3 specific teams, not in one of these like big, FFPC main events where people have talked about blowing 45, 50-point leads in the final week because you have a lot of teams chasing you. I mean, we not only would have to go under 100, one of those 3 specific teams would have to go.
Well, just one
180.
team, really. There's really only one team.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
But it's
really
not.
one.
But I do think the odds of him going 180 and us going 100 aren't like that insane.
Let people know. So this isn't one of the large field contests. This is a self-contained 5K league. What are our payouts here, Leone?
Yeah, let's just go to.
It's 28,500 for first.
I'm also factoring in our team, by the way. Did you show our roster?
Right.
Like,
yeah, that's I'll bring up the roster again. Like that's the big thing is it's unlikely our team totally tanks because it's healthy.
Right.
But
that's the thing. That's
we
like
took down. We actually had a game in the regular season where we only scored like 100 points and somehow won, which was a miracle because we would not have won best head-to-head record, but we won 10K in the regular season because we won best record in most points, and then 28.5K is the prize up top. But yeah, our team is like pretty legitimately stacked right now, especially if Swift is back. Because we're getting AJ Brown back, we're getting Kelsey back. I thought I put him back in. Oh fuck! Fix your site.
Oh no! This is where
I hit some sort of bug and we
can't get Kelsey in the lineup.
It drops our entire team. Yeah. And why don't we, as Pat said, we're all amped about this Dan Campbell clip. We might as well watch it.
Let's play it, man. Come on.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, I think that now we look at it as, it's an opportunity for him to grow. I think the thought is we'll shut him down after Green Bay. It's probably what we'll do with him. So, no, he's still got room to grow, and we're not going to put him out there until he's healthy. And so we feel like he's going to be ready to go this week, and he's been wanting to go. And so I think we feel like we're at a place where, let's go and cut him loose, and let's let him continue to grow and get better. That way we
cut him loose.
He's that much better for it. Yeah, I think that.
Is this the draft where we did like the alpha bit when we were recapping the draft? Because I feel a lot of alpha coming from Dan Campbell for us.
Yeah, Dan Campbell always looks like he's about to go on a hunting trip. I mean, it's just this guy.
He does, yeah.
Incredible.
He looks like he's mid-hunting trip.
So I'm just worried about us hanging on here, whereas I think Ben's like already planning like the rewatch celebrations show.
I mean,
Ben booked a family trip to Disney World.
Yeah, it's non-refundable.
So yes, that'll be a fun one to sweat here on Sunday. But yeah, I thought we could go through a couple of these teams that the ship chasers sent over. Maybe I'll start here with a couple of our guys in the DK Millie. We got $1 million up top. Yeah. I didn't do a ton of drafting on DraftKings in their best ball championship. Did you guys?
Not really.
I dude. I mean, I told you my auto draft issue and that my best team on FFPC, but DraftKings, I drafted one team on slow draft, didn't get the alerts, and auto drafted, and I had a nightmare last year, so I really didn't draft at all on DraftKings. I think if you have time to fast draft, they're like pretty strong as in your edge is probably strong in them. So I guess they're actually soft drafts, but I didn't because I pretty much just a slow drafter.
Yeah, here's a Chris G team. These screenshots are a little harder to parse here. We see a Mahomes. We got the Higgins. We got the Kelsey and Pitts combo here. We got AJ Dillon. You got to have a Diami Brown on these teams. Denzel Mims for the brand. That Brian Pringle had to have helped last week here, but a nice team. What are you guys thinking about James Conner this weekend? I know he's now like truly questionable. I feel like a lot of these teams have James Conner on them.
Yeah,
it's a tough matchup.
It's a tough situation after Edmonds had a big game as well, right? Like Edmonds' first game back, Conner was still the lead. He was actually running some routes, which when they were both active earlier in the year, he didn't do a lot of. But now Edmonds has a big game. Both had big games while they're the only back. It's kind of hard to. Like, how are you projecting it, Leone? The split?
Yeah, I mean, the way we would have it if they're both active is pretty much what they did when they were both healthy at the beginning of the year. I mean, it's boring, but we pretty much go exactly how they were playing, which is Connor being very, very boom or bust, just based on the touchdowns. Like people forget the first 2 weeks of the season, he scored like 5 total fantasy points. Like it seemed like it was going to be a disaster pick. And then it like just absolutely boomed because the touchdowns were coming left and right.
But what about the week
Don't you think his route? Don't you think he'll run more routes than that?
Yeah.
I'm not really counting on him running. I think Edmonds is going to run the routes. I could be wrong on that, but
I think
between him not being fully healthy and just what we
fair.
saw when they were both playing together, like I'm probably going to be conservative and not give Connor like more work than he had when they were playing together earlier in the year. That might have been different had he stayed healthy and we saw it like 2 weeks in a row. But like that week he ran full routes was also like Edmonds' first week back. And I don't know, I'm not putting a whole ton of stock into that one.
I would have him. I think it should give him a little bit of a boost compared to where he was before. Cause he was like firmly behind Edmonds in the passing game previously. And I think there's a path to him being ahead if they're both healthy. Don't you think?
I think so. He's been productive.
I mean, it's possible. I'd bet against it, but it's certainly possible.
I probably would too, but
I have another team here. This is from Crease. Posted this in the Discord, although he has the Josh in Essential blurry affliction on his screenshot here, but I can parse some of it. We do have the Burrow. We have Travis Kelce, Higgins, Tyler Boyd have that double stack, seeing that pop up a decent bit here. Singletary, who I know helped a lot of people last week, DK Metcalf and Cooper Kupp, and then AJ Dillon and Javonte Williams. So a pretty nice zero RB squad here in the finals. And also Eric H here, another Burrow. This team, of course, holy cow, Taylor, Kupp, Higgins, Swift.
Oh yeah.
Diggs, Andrews. This team is absolutely loaded. And Sony Michel, goodness. Yeah,
but
this
then
team
a
is hot.
A lot of IRs there. I mean, like absolutely loaded. I completely agree. But it's interesting. Like, and I'm seeing like Quadri Allison and stuff, right? Like, this has been.
They're 20 rounds though, so there's a couple extra players to play with, and also guys like Allison get drafted a little bit more.
I had someone text me that Elijah Moore might play this week. That's not happening.
He's 50-50.
They said 50-50.
Yeah.
So if Moore plays and Swift plays, all of a sudden he's got two healthier guys to go with like already a pretty central core.
Yeah. This is a super fun team. Even have Devonta Smith, Bateman in there. Who is his QB2? Where's the QB?
Dude, the Diggs.
Zach Wilson. Wow.
The Diggs stuff is fun because I don't think a lot of teams probably have Diggs.
Yeah. That looks pretty nice here. Let's see my other guys here. Let's pull up. AC was the only one that had a team that made it to the Big Dog finals, which I thought was cool. Another.
Yeah, sorry. I got eliminated from the Big Dog last week, and I was sad, even with an Andrews team.
It's that one is a nice top, nice prize pool in that one, smooth payout structure there. So another blurry screenshot here, but we do have no Andrews and a zero RB team. We got Edmonds, Carter, Chuba, Darrell Williams, who could be big this week. But then, of course, it has Kupp, Higgins, Debo, Pringle, Kirk. I mean, that's the thing that's crazy about these teams. It's like they have the studs, and then you have that guy like Pringle who can get you there as that other piece.
Well, it's interesting too because he's got Kelce and Komet here.
Yeah.
To get them through the last round is, I mean, Komet, what did he have last week? Not a ton because Graham had the touchdown.
Yeah. Aren't Howard and Sanders both kind of iffy for this weekend too?
Sanders is out.
Sanders is out for sure.
Yeah. And Howard is like iffy, very iffy.
Yeah. So Gainwell could have some juice for him too.
Yeah. Yep. And Michael Carter, I mean, it was interesting how he was so good on the ground, but didn't do much in the passing game. But you got to think as like 2 touchdown underdogs to the Pats, he should get used in the passing game a decent bit.
Yeah.
Let's see who else let's check out some BBM teams here. So we had Tim Starkindler had a couple BBM teams.
Where's your BBM team, Pete? I
mean, I already fapped over that one. we'll pull it up here. There it is.
How many people are in the finals? 180, right? Is that right?
I think either 160 or 180.
I mean, have you ever had better shot at $1 million than that?
Probably when we build some teams this weekend in the DK Millionaire Maker. No, it's a pretty good shot. It's a pretty good shot. Here's this Tim team, which is super fun with Trey Lance, Dak and Lance. He has a Gibson anchor, Jamal Williams, Singletary, Damian Williams, Chuba, has Kelsey and Jared Cook, wide receivers, of course, loaded, Amari, Higgins, Debo, Boyd, Devontae Parker.
You had to get really first in your leagues to get through these last week, right? How big were the leagues?
18.
It's interesting that multiple of these teams didn't have they had Kelsey and not a very high scoring second tight end for last week.
Yeah, Cook 7.9 points.
But T. Higgins had an insane score. So
right.
And maybe they were just in like a league that didn't have a lot of Andrews. Or badly constructed Andrews teams, maybe.
Dak and T, I think, were the highest scorers at their position. Burrow was probably the highest score, but maybe like second highest score was Dak.
I'm stoked for these guys that have Kelsey teams through. I mean, it's
pretty nice.
For sure. Starkindler has a few teams through here. Here's another slim running back crew. Nick Chubb, James Conner, Melvin Gordon, rest in peace, Malcolm Brown there. Josh Allen team to Steph Diggs has Deontay Johnson, Waddle, Gabriel Davis, Amon-Ra St. Brown. And then this one does have the Mark Andrews and Zach Ertz. I feel like I haven't seen a ton of Allen Diggs teams in the BBM.
No, this
finals.
is a pretty unique team. And he also has some coverage. Like if Andrews stunk, like Ertz could get there for him. He just needs, one of Gordon or Connor to find the box basically. And then Chubb's a monster.
Go off. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Allen's, the ceiling is there, that's a nice low on stack to have.
I love seeing all these zero RB teams. This is another one of Starkindler's in BBM2. This is a Hurts Rogers, AJ Dillon, Alexander Madison, Darrell Williams, Gio Bernard, really high end wide receivers here. Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, T Higgins, Gallup, Debo. Shout out to Amir Smith-Marset on this team. Yeah. How? Mark Andrews, Adam Troutman at tight end.
He could probably contributed as much as Rager.
I mean,
Thielen's out. Who knows?
Yeah.
No, well, it is true. Like I joke, but I wish, I think back to my Colin Johnsons and my, Travis Fulghams and wishing I did diversify a little bit more on those wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5s. I feel like I actually did that on the Jets. Like I actually took some Keelan Cole knowing that there was a chance Denzel Mims was dust, but I didn't do it everywhere.
I know I was similar. I have some Zach Pascal and stuff like that, which worked out. But then I have some, like, I'm overly concentrated on like De'Ami Brown.
Yeah, way too much. Although he had that big catch last week, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what was like the most painful seasonal trajectory for me? My highest exposure player in Underdog Best Ball was Rondale Moore, and the way the season started, it just seemed like it was going to be an absolute smash fest. And then
yeah,
and then Cliff Kingsbury coached the team.
Yep, sadness.
This is my team that I have with Bime 4 that we drafted on stream there at the end of August.
I was just about to say nicest screenshot, whoever this person is.
Oh yeah, I mean professional content creator over here. So yeah, this team's fun just because we don't have any of the usual suspects. No Cup, no JT, no Debo Samuel. So pretty unique team.
Man, Mostert would have smashed. I know you could say that about so many, but there
would have
definitely some clear though. We've been saying that since like week 5.
Oh right? God. I've got Tony Pollard in that FFPC team, so he's pretty unique. Let's go, Pete. Let's get the Tony Pollard game.
Yeah, I know Jericho's rooting for Dalvin Cook. I was kind of hoping he would be out another week here with
Rondale.
The
you
thing
got the
is
Arizona, the Arizona Dallas stack. Okay, you got one through.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, you want to talk about all our correlations. So we got the Dallas stack with the Connor Rondale bring back. We got the Dallas double stack. Although that's the one I was just talking about. We have the Atlanta little
Gabe
mini
Davis.
here with Gabe Davis, of course.
Devontae Madison.
The thing, though, when I was looking at a lot of the other 0 RB teams, a lot of them only have like 2 really good bets at running back. Like I feel like between Michelle, Penny, Pollard, and Connor, like there's like 4 options there of guys who could get you 15 plus points.
The Penny pick just took a while.
Yeah, it sure did. Let's see here. Let's check out a few other. Remind me what the War Room contest was.
That was the one early, right? Was that the pre-draft one?
It must have been. I'm sure Chris and Kronz can let us know in the chat.
Yeah, I think it was regular roster pre-draft, pre-NFL draft.
Chris maxed out BBM, I believe, in May, so it must have been pretty early.
Yeah. Nothing gave me more joy than teasing Chris about getting to draft Jamar Chase in the late 5th, early 6th, that he was all maxed out after taking him in the 4th all year. Yes, pre-draft here. Interesting. I always like looking at Chris's teams here. Joe Burrow, Mac Jones, Eckler, Javonte Williams, Gainwell, Chuba. He does have Kittle and Parm at tight end, Keenan, T, Tyler Boyd, Debo, Mike Williams. Mike Williams has to be a fairly unique guy in the finals for a lot of these teams, but he does have that premium Joe Burrow double stack that got him there.
Probably not a lot of people pre-draft that were willing to go 4 running backs and take 3 rookies. I think that was pretty ballsy. And it worked out.
I love it, man. I love it. What are the 4 running back? The Kenneth Gainwell and who's Chuba?
Chuba and Javonte.
Wow, so just Eckler and Javonte just getting you through.
Yeah.
Chuba had a couple, and Gainwell early.
He had a couple of games, yeah. I guess that's true. They sprinkled in.
It's funny,
Ben.
Kronz. Oh, go ahead.
No, I've got a side tangent. Sorry.
I was just going to check Kronz's War Room team here real quick. The fact he got through with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields at quarterback.
Patrick played like 5 snaps.
5 snaps.
Wow.
But he does have Andrews. He has a really nice running back group here with Damian Harris, Nick Chubb, Nyheim Hines, Austin Eckler, and then has Debo, Kupp, and Terry McLaurin. I guess it does go to show you didn't need quite as strong of rosters drafting this early.
Well, and he's got Kupp, Andrews, Eckler. He's got some Debo. He stacked a lot of really key pieces, but it's fascinating because like you said, like Wilson was out too.
Yeah.
Fields didn't start a lot. Did he have a week where he didn't get any quarterback points? I feel like probably with Fields kind of being in and out, there had to have been some weeks in there with Wilson. Wilson missed like 3-4 weeks? Like when Mike White was playing and stuff? How long was that?
He missed Mike White played because Josh Johnson. There was a Mike White's good game. Mike White got hurt. Josh Johnson. There's the Joe Flacco game.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson got hurt in a game when Mike White came in. So it was 3.5 games I think he missed.
And did Fields ever have 4 good games in a row? Like there had to have been at least 1 week here where there was like no QB points.
That is wild. Yeah. Pat, I don't even know if we got to check. Like, how were you fist pumping when Zach Wilson ripped off that big run last week?
Not really. It was kind of fun. It was fun, but Wilson hasn't been positive in completion percentage over expected in a single week this season. And like that, I think the only other quarterbacks to do that are like Trevor Siemian, Taysom Hill, and like one other. Oh, Mike Glennon. Those are the only other quarterbacks who haven't, and they've only played like 4 games or less, and he's played like 12 games. Yeah, so it's like just an embarrassing.
Sorry, Pat. Week 10.
He's just having an embarrassing season
for this team. This team had zeros in week 10 from all 3 of these quarterbacks.
Well, the thing is, when Cooper Kupp is outscoring the quarterbacks by like 5 points a game, it's like Cooper Kupp was your quarterback.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp's your quarterback. Week. Yeah, and Mark Andrews was your quarterback some weeks, and Zach Wilson's your tight end. Then you're fine.
Right.
It does go to show, if you're willing to lock up your money, super early, and you understand structural drafting, like you don't have to be perfect to build these good teams.
Yeah. So this must have been running back. And then not taking another running back for a little while. Where was Damian Harris going at this time?
I think pretty late. He was going pretty late to start the offseason.
Yeah. What was your tangent, Leone? And then we'll go back to
my
check out
tangent
some
was
teams.
because you're talking about the preseason teams was Ben and I drafted like the absolute nut rookie sophomore team, and of course it got eliminated week 15, and we had the Burrow double stack, and I was just tilting. But we had Burrow, JT, Najee Harris, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Bateman.
What?
Like
Holy shit.
Just like an absolute, and we had Dobbins on that team too. It was just like but it got eliminated the week before Burrow went off when, I think Cincy did absolutely nothing that week before.
Oh yeah, Boyd had the only touchdown. Both.
Oh, here we go.
Higgins.
This is Silas sent me one. He was the only one who sent me one from the rookies and sophomores. So he has a Joe Burrow to T. Higgins, Waddle. It got cut off here, but Antonio Gibson, Javonte Williams, AJ Dillon, James Robinson at running back, Jefferson, Higgins, Waddle. I don't think there was anyone super notable. There's like Quez Watkins and someone else, but that was a fun tournament.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah.
Didn't they launch one for next year?
For next year. Yeah.
Love it.
I don't have the brain power for it yet.
No, me neither.
Let's check out
rookies and sophomores for next year's already launched.
No, I think it's like
I think it's sophomores and juniors.
That's what it is. Sophomores.
It's these same two classes that are.
Yeah,
like, they're good classes, so you might as well keep running it.
They are good classes.
Does this end with us drafting a sophomore junior?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
it probably does. You know what? It's actually impressive because people were like, "Oh, who's going to draft that? Who's going to tie up their money for this?" It's already over half full. People are sick.
Super sick.
Let's check out some of these puppy teams. We got AC, we got Essential, we got
I'm interested in these puppy teams after
how many teams
ship
are in
chasing...
the puppy final for the viewers who don't know.
Because there's 3 different puppies, I'm not sure if they all have different size groups. If you guys are in the chat, let me know.
I'm interested to see what these teams look like because you guys ruined the ADP.
Sorry, what was that one?
Ship chasing ruined the ADP of the puppies, so I'm interested to see what these teams look like.
Man, you guys are killing me with these screenshots.
This one's real bad.
This one's really bad.
This is like
Can you zoom in?
I did.
It makes it worse.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling down there at the bottom of the screen. You can see all of his names.
George Kittle.
George Kittle.
That's Aaron Rodgers is the second quarterback. Trey Lance and Aaron Rodgers.
Devontae Adams.
It's a Dalvin Cook,
Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
Yes.
Michael.
I don't know who the other running backs are.
All right, so it's the wide receivers are Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, T. Higgins, Deebo Samuel, Rondale Moore, Terrace Marshall, Christian Kirk, Amari Rogers, KJ Hamler, MVS.
Oh, KJ
how are you reading that?
I was trying to figure out if that was KJ Osborne. Completely forgot KJ Hamler existed.
I pulled up the version in the Discord that I could read better.
Oh, okay.
Sorry guys, these screenshots are rough, but that looks like a fun team. AC Essential actually sent me, it looks like a decent screenshot here.
Essential, where were these screenshots all year?
Yeah, he got better. Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Javonte Williams, Damian Harris, Darrell Henderson, rest in peace, Hines, Chuba, Devonta Booker, true zero RB.
Full zero RB, right?
Yeah. And then sick wide receivers, Hill, Diggs, Amari, Debo, Waddle, Hardman, John Brown, and Tutu Atwell, and then Mark Andrews and Jared Cook there.
This is Puppy 1, so this was like July or something? June?
Yeah, that wrapped like into July?
Yeah. You definitely see where diversification, though, helps, where, one of the primary reasons this team's through is the health of those top 6 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, part of this test is I know a lot of you guys didn't see an eye doctor this year, and so we're actually testing your vision.
I need to make an appointment.
JXP is going to of course
get into dark mode, dude.
I know the dark mode
my
guys.
Eyes.
A Joe Burrow, Fields, Lawrence team, Gio, Javonte, Chase, Antonio Gibson, Damian Williams, Hunter Renfrow, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Darnell Mooney, Paris Campbell, Slayton Hilton, George Kittle, Hunter Henry. I was going to ask you guys, who is the name that is popping up the most on these rosters that was actually the most useless? I feel like Damian Williams has been on a ton of these teams.
Interesting.
Yeah, probably Damian. I can't think of anybody else.
I'm seeing a lot of Fields.
I'm seeing a lot of Fields.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I am. Pat kind of had made this note in, I don't know if you made it on stream, Pat, or just when we were talking in Discord about the rookie quarterback stuff and how, like, obviously we went a little too far at a certain point where the reward wasn't worth the risk, but the whole draft is if you're right thing. I think like that's like, you want to channel that, but like now going through a whole year where I drafted like as heavy as I have any other year, I do start to see like some teams where like I could have been a little more like robust, like a little could have built in a little bit more stability where I didn't, necessarily need to push that edge 100%.
But I got a question about the rookie thing. What percentile outcome is Lawrence sucking, Wilson sucking? We knew they were going to play. Jones, we didn't know was really going to play for sure. So, there was outcomes where he didn't even play, I guess. Fields playing but not being great, and Lance not really playing. Like, because like part of it was that there were
Mac
so
Jones
many of them.
being perfectly.
What's that?
And then Mac Jones,
being perfectly,
the one guy we didn't draft.
Interested at all,
Right?
Yeah, and fuck Mac Jones, and then he's the only guy you want.
But like, I feel like that was. I feel like it was better than 50% that one of these rookies were going to be. Clear. And the fact that we're still seeing Fields on some of these teams is, I think, a pretty decent indication we weren't that far off. Like, he didn't have a good year at all, but it still helped in some spots because of profile.
But like, I could have done more like teams like this, like Burrow's a double-digit pick, and then like two of those, like I could have done some 3 quarterback teams.
That's what I was saying. I wish I had done more elite quarterback with the rookie, or if I'm doing the rookie, throw on the third quarterback a little bit more, kind of like, what happened with Leone's team where Jared Goff and Ben Roethlisberger, you need one score out of them. It's like, if are we trying to hit home runs with every single pick? Because sometimes like if you have home runs elsewhere on your roster, you're going to need those home runs somewhere. But like if you have the Cooper Kupp and the JT and the Debo, then what you really need is singles at the right times from other parts of your roster. So I think I'm just going to be thinking through that a little bit more of like, it's okay to take a single sometimes.
Yeah. When you see the way the scores align, like it's one of those things where like, I hate to say like you did, but like you kind of need to experience it and go through it. And like, you start to get a little, you don't want to give in to just to be too results oriented, but you do kind of see where it's like, okay, like thank God I had, this, covered here, or like, you don't need to push the edges, I guess, like 100%. Like you're better pushing off the edges 100% than 0%. And when I was referencing going too far with the rookie quarterbacks, like Lance and Fields ADP really got to a point where like we probably should have stopped drafting them.
Yeah.
And we were just like, nah.
And then we were only going 2. So, which you kind of had to because of the price.
Because of the cost.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. That's my big takeaway with those. It was like, we were taking on risk from guys where you would want them part of like super late 3 QB builds. And we were playing them as like locked and loaded, mid-tier QB.
Pat, you really liked in that range where they got to, and I didn't want to take during some of our main event drafts was Jalen Hurts. And Hurts is basically the exact same profile of what we were hoping for from Fields.
Yeah,
except he was clearly going to start.
Definitely going to start. Yeah, that's why I liked him. Yeah, because he's like, we already got the start. So it's like you're taking, it seems like a lower upside pick in a way because you're, you can't dream about him as much. But I don't know. I mean, in some ways it's a higher upside pick because like he's definitely going to start and you can use all those weeks. So
I also like to your point about hitting singles too, like some of the boring running backs in like rounds 10 through 14 were like pretty useful this year as far as like
Melvin Gordon was kind of a leak on my game. Yeah.
Like Singletary a little bit. Like,
yeah, I had He was all over Singletary.
Like just
Fournette
like
was the worst leak than Gordon. I ranked both those guys way below ADP.
Fournette was a leak
really far.
Because he caught passes and he was cheap. That's why I'm like, why would
he was cheap? That's the
it would have been fun to victory lap taking Fournette the year he was good too. If we faded him the year he sucked and then take him when he's good. That was a just like strategically that was a big leak.
But like guys that are going to play, like Jack did a study for us, like having some of those running backs mixed in, like you don't want your whole 5 running backs to be dust balls just because they're playing. But
yeah,
when the cost comes down enough because everyone's chasing upside, I think like, having those types of guys helps instead of like a team of like, 4 pure handcuffs or something.
I got on Josh Jacobs actually late because he was falling into like the 6th. I think
that was,
6th.
I mean,
and
you got ridiculed for that, like if you took Jacobs in round 6, but like that's another one that's just like fine.
Really, the exact same profile that was going in the second round the year before.
And actually, it was this guy. I'll give Daniel Rax. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he like literally changed my mind on Twitter, which has never happened in the history of the app. So congratulations to you, Daniel. He did. He was just like, I think he was. We started going back and forth, and I think he was DMing me about like why, like he's getting touches, like he's so cheap, like the opportunity cost is basically nothing. And I was like, you're right, I should draft him.
Yeah.
The one thing that to me, like with these guys we fall in love with or that we're not as into, say like the boring Melvin Gordon types, is you can let the market dictate it for you. Like when Trey Lance is screaming up 2 rounds past where he was going, then it's like, I'm done. Like the risk is not baked in. Or if it's like Melvin Gordon's falling 2 rounds past ADP, I'm taking the guy. Like, like just letting the market dictate that exposure for you, I think can really help.
Well, also like over the course of the months, right? Like I wasn't taking much Jamar Chase early on. And then once Jamar Chase, but like feeling gross about not having him. And then once he fell to the 5th, like I would have preferred obviously to take him in the 6th if but I knew that would never happen. So I just started hammering him in the 5th, because the year before, whatever, we were able to get CeeDee Lamb in like the 6th and 7th. But like understanding that, it's okay maybe to sit out a guy when he's super expensive and then you just hammer him later or vice versa. I wasn't touching guys like Josh Jacobs, even Miles Sanders, but if then one of them falls, like loading up a little bit at that point.
I think that's going to be a big trend in 2021 or 22 as well. I mentioned that in a couple past weeks when we've been talking about ADP. I think there's going to be a lot of movement next year, just based on the way that this year played out. Everyone kind of had their moment in the sun. So Pete, that's going to be the point you just made about like letting the market dictate it and everything over time. Like that's, I don't know. I think that's going to be a big one. If you believe that, you're going to have opportunities is what I'm trying to say.
We're going to have to get our Kyle Pitts exposure early. I already see it.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I also good.
I was just going to say like recency bias and stuff like that. That's never going away. Like even drafting these playoff best ball teams, like as the probabilities change for these teams where it's like Chargers were not getting drafted at all. They have that big win. Then everyone starts drafting them. Then they lose to the Texans and now people aren't drafting them as much. Like the market is always going to overreact to those spikes.
Yeah. Although like I sometimes I feel like the market is on to stuff more than like the mature market. Like JT was never cheaper than right before the season. He was very expensive following last year because we all had the talent in our minds. And then, that was one that's like, it's tough to project that he's just going to be like the next LT.
The guy to test that theory is going to be ETN. Robinson, Achilles, new coach, potential Lawrence second year stuff. I think by August, he's probably a 5th round pick at least. But I think there's a chance
he's like
in January he could be an 8th or 9th round pick because he didn't play at all. But he might be a 5th round pick in January because people are going to think about the Robinson stuff and everything. So it'll be interesting to test that just to see how the market starts on him early.
I think the JT this year could be Javonte in the sense of like,
sure,
if Melvin Gordon comes back or if they bring in someone else, like, whatever running back kind of, floats around. Let's say Ronald Jones, someone else goes there as a free agent and they're like, you have to project some rushing work to the other guy. Then I think his ADP might slip, but you're like, but the sharper thing might just be to be like, this guy looks like an emerging star. I'm taking him in whatever he's going to start in. Let's say like, what do you think? Like the late 2nd, 3rd round?
Javonte?
Yeah,
round 2 at least.
I think people.
I don't think he's going into round 3.
Remember our 101 conversations after that Monday Night Football?
You think 1?
Game?
When we don't know we don't know.
Bananas the other
backfield
day,
comes
Sean
up?
was making the case for top 5, and so
Okay, all right,
he
all right.
moves some markets sometimes. I don't know. I think he's probably a late first rounder. We talked about him like Gibson as well after.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. And,
Yeah, that's probably
and Taylor, to your point, was a first rounder for most of the offseason, right?
Yeah.
Until
I think
late,
the
and then
Taylor
he was in the
spot was
second.
a little different, but
How so?
What's that, Leone?
I think Taylor's efficiency
Yeah.
was just on a whole nother level. His prospect profile was on a little bit of a different level. He's offensive line. We knew they would want to run the ball, and like the people he was competing with were just not going to take work from
But it's
him.
more like Gibson.
No, but I'm not saying Javonte's the next JT in terms of production. I'm saying that
Right.
I think the market now might be sharper on JT than the market in August or September.
Yeah.
No, oh, I got you.
I mean, Javonte Williams.
Yeah, I almost feel like the market was like almost a little too soft on JT, even as like back on a round. I don't know. It's easy to say that in hindsight because he crushed, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
Got to shout out our guy Willis's team here. This is a super fun team, like very thin 0 RB team with Singletary, Connor, AJ Dillon, Chuba, and Hines. He has, of course, the Ben Roethlisberger with Joe Burrow. He has that Boyd Higgins that you needed. And then what's really unique here is he has a Waller Kelsey team.
Wow.
So if he could just happen to get, Waller back,
I think
that
he
would be
just
pretty
hit
unique.
COVID though, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Today?
missed that.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, so I think he's auto out, unfortunately.
Oh,
Is he vaccinated? He's not auto out if he's vaccinated.
I thought it was 5 days no matter what.
No, that you can test out. You can test out if you're vaccinated.
So unvaxxed is 5 days no matter what. Vaxxed is you could test out.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he is or not.
You guys are all coming out of the woodwork in the Discord now with all of your teams here that I from the thread. So we'll grab a couple more of these from the ship chasing Discord here. We have Shooby Dooby here in the I believe this is the Puppy 3. So this is one later in the year. And of course, you do have the Jonathan Taylor anchor there. This was a thing I've been talking about a lot this year with just not having the pass catching backs to buoy you as much. A Gio Bernard, James White, Tevin Coleman, Savon Ahmed.
There's got to be weeks he took zeros at RB2.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
no question.
This week might be one of them.
Yeah. Is Tevin playing right now?
Tevin's playing. Yeah. Tevin's playing.
Let's see here. We have our friend IR Black. This is in the final 82 of the NFL Best Ball 300K flea flicker. I guess he's in the finals of this one with Tuttle. Haven't seen a lot of Lamar Jackson teams. No. That could be fun.
That's cool. That's
with
very
Bateman.
Cool.
Bateman and Andrews there.
And of course he correlated it with Latavius. He knew.
He's also got Stafford, so he's got some
big Rams, Baltimore. Look at all the LAR at Baltimore on that.
Oh wow, yeah.
You love that stack. Look at that.
That's great. I mean, he must have stacked that up intentionally.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That is really nice.
Wow, that's so nice.
All right, who else do we got here? This was Wu-Tang Killa Bees here in Best Ball Mania 2. We have another Dalvin Cook anchor team here with AJ Dillon, Singletary. We have Hurts been carrying this team with Trevor Lawrence, the only other quarterback. Of course, it does have Andrews, AJ Brown, Keenan, who should be pretty unique, T. Higgins, Debo, Jacoby in a nice spot this week, could be a differentiator. Cordell Patterson. So very nice
the
team
CPAT.
there. Yeah, what is your guys' take on CPAT heading into this weekend? Because he's kind of really cooled off.
Ben probably, I didn't read Stealing Signals yet this week, but it seems like they've been just not using him in the passing game as much. And that's kind of just always hurts the floor ceiling combination.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody in my Discord asked me about him too and shared a quote that I think maybe it was from you guys, Pat, from a blurb, but that Arthur Smith was talking about kind of shutting him down, essentially like limiting his workload because he's a vet and that different guys are at different places at this point of the year. And he's basically like, can we bench Patterson? I mean, my response was like, yeah, I think so. I mean, without the receiving, there's not the same ceiling quite. He still has the obvious touchdown upside, but then the floor has always been a little risky with the way he's used. And even scoring last week, he didn't put up a big number. So I just think, you have the low floor. You don't have quite as much ceiling without the receiving. And it's like, if you have other good options, like you can bad matchup too.
Oh, Buffalo. It's gonna be like 50-0, dude.
I haven't even looked at him, dude. I just finished stealing signals for the year last week, man. I'm checked out. I built a Lego set for 4 hours today with my 6-year-old.
I love it. That's awesome. What set was it?
It was the roller coaster set. Didn't know they made roller coasters. There's like a little theme park. It was very cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And then it's like a functional little, what do they give you, little cars and stuff? You
build a little cart and you put little wheels on the bottom and it actually like skirts around it. It's not a big track, but it's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Team Lego.
One more here from our guy Frank Duffy. We have a Josh Allen Tua team. Haven't seen much Tua. Taylor, AJ Dillon, Jamal Williams. There's my Damian Williams. Ooh, Justin Jackson on there propelling him to the finals. That's fun. Diggs, Higgins, Samuel, Mike Dubb, Rondell, Parker, Kirk, Van Jefferson. Gretch loves to see it. George Kittle and Cole Kmet.
Imagine taking that hard line of a stance on just a random no-name guy and having him just constantly hit for long touchdowns in your
0% chance he would ever do anything. Zero.
I believe I said that he was going to max out 500, 600 yards was sort of my real take. And I think he's well past that at this point.
I love Gretch when you say, imagine taking that hard of a stance on a player. I'm like, that's basically all we did.
That's basically all time. The Justin Jackson one's fun to see because I did that thing where I was like, I would fall in love with a scratch off lottery ticket running back for 2 weeks and then move on. Jackson was that guy for like 2 weeks for me.
Yeah,
I feel like that's good though, Pat. Like you get the exposure, fuck with the ADP a little bit, and then get out, move on to the next one and be diversified.
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna like force myself. I'm gonna like set a timer, like find a new guy, because like the hard part was like I sometimes wouldn't have a guy, and then I'd end up taking some old flames, and then it's of your exposure.
Then you have a lot of Ramondre on your team.
Pat's literally describing a pump and dump scheme for everyone's like tagging Pat. They're like, hey, I just got Ty Johnson's like, I've moved on to Ramondre. Let's see. There was one more that came in here from Josh Jenkins. This is a Puppy 3 team. Aaron Rodgers, Matt Ryan. Ooh, we finally have a Rojo.
Let's go.
Let's go. Rojo, Gus Edwards, rest in peace. Singletary, Alexander Madison, James White, rest in peace. I mean, this is down to Rojo and Singletary.
That's not hyper Rojo. That's just pure zero running back.
Isn't that hyper Rojo?
No, hyper Rojo is hyper fragile, but you wait for your second or third running back to be Rojo. So it's like usually your third running back. You go 2 running backs early, then Rojo.
This is Anchor Rojo.
Anchor Rojo.
Yeah, this is Anchor. This is a
how
pure
awesome
zero running back team.
Would it be if Rojo ends up like winning these big tournaments?
I could take it or leave it.
Can we?
Well,
talk
did we?
About
could you?
No. I could take it.
We saw the hated tweet, right?
Yeah, I mean, Pat had the funniest reply. I saw it right away. Like I was minus 1,500 to retweet this or something.
When Hayden put eruption spot here, he meant what was happening in Pat's pants.
Hayden is very good at predicting the future.
It is the nut spot for him, right? It's the Jets. I mean, like
it's the true nut spot. It's like it couldn't be better. My God.
You know, maybe it's like let Brady kind of rest that arm a bit heading into the playoffs. Put it into Rojo's belly about 30 times here this week.
They almost did last week. So.
The rest of this team is Adams. Man, Ridley that early. Have not seen a Ridley team get through. Lockett, Cup, Odell. Wow.
This team has Gus Edwards, James White, Calvin Ridley on a 0 RB team that lost 2 running backs for the whole year. And Rojo didn't do a lot.
What is this in? What final is this in?
Puppy 3.
Puppy 3.
Wow.
But it has Adams, Cup, and Debo. And then Mark Andrews carrying at tight end. I mean,
this is one of the ones we screwed up the ADP in. This is us.
For sure. I don't know. He got Lockett and Cup in 3-4. That's
that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah, I was probably at the turn though, so I guess that is kind of early.
That is actually pretty early. Yeah. If it's that, you're right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, of all these teams we looked at, I mean, if we can, it sounds like we have pretty decent shots of a ship chaser taking down one of these tournaments, I think, which is pretty cool. What are you doing over there, Leone?
My lights are all fucked up. There's like,
I thought you were trying to give me a high five.
Missing spots.
Yeah, I thought this was like a celebration of the ship chasing success.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, guys.
Gretch.
Hands in, everybody.
Hands in.
Ship
There's
chasing
no
on
way
three.
you could blow
One,
an 80-point
two.
lead.
Hang on,
Chasing
Pete, I'll give you a high five. Okay, good. Ben, you want a high five?
Yeah. Damn it, I didn't.
No, that's the wrong way.
See, like, look, some of my hands gone. My hands
Leone?
deteriorating. It's like
No.
I'm not a real person. It's like I'm from Ghost Town.
This is so dumb.
Leone, we got to high five you. Wrong. Yeah.
I'm high five. How long can this go on?
It's
for?
off the screen.
It's been a long season, guys. It's been a long season here. This is a good comment by Historical Anomalies. Can we get Gretch to grow back his mustache so he can do his McCaskey impression and fire Nagy and pace in a couple of weeks?
I will work on it.
Oh,
I'll work
yes, please.
on it. It'll take me a couple weeks to just shave before Christmas, but
Oh, that's such a good suggestion.
Gretch, if you record a little thing as you firing him, I'll put it together as a clip and release the Chicago ownership group.
I mean, I'm
Release it,
telling
like,
you, it's going to be
seconds
like
after Schefter
January
tweets it.
15th before I get this thing grown out. So they better wait to fire him a little bit.
Never fired a coach in season, so.
Any other wish list items you guys have heading here into week 17? It does truly feel surreal to have the matchups that I had like circled in a spreadsheet and was referencing all summer for my week 17 game stacks. And now those matchups are here.
I just got to take down this FFPC league.
Yeah.
That's the 100K up top for the FFPC.
No million, but
Congrats to Levitan, by the way. Took down 250K with
That was awesome.
certain running back that we like to draft around here.
Who? Yeah. So he had what? Justin Jackson, Rex Burkhead, and
Rojo.
That was another guy. Oh, yeah, Rojo was on that team.
I wonder if
Levitan
Silva will
historically
accept
a Rojo
that team
guy?
from him.
Levitan's
no,
trying to
he's
make
not.
money guy. He wants to.
Yeah, Levitan is agnostic.
Yeah.
I guess.
I feel
Unless
like he's had some maybe some anti-Rojo takes at some point, but maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'm not.
Silva's
He's been on
pushing-
podcasts
Silva's pretty
with-
anti-Rojo.
Yeah.
He's been on
Silva,
podcast
yeah.
with Silva, who is
Yeah.
anti-Rojo.
Right.
Levitan's also pretty diplomatic, so he's on a
Yeah.
podcast with Silva. He's on
Yeah.
a podcast with back when I was over there. He wasn't so anti-Rojo.
Silva had a tweet today. He said Unity 2024 because he was quote tweeting the clip Adam had from the solo pod about a guy asking. It came up into his gym because he was wearing an Establish the Run shirt, and he unironically was like, "Yeah, I agree. Teams need to establish the run more." And he asked Adam how he was supposed to handle it, and Adam was saying, "This is a chance to bridge the divide. You let two people agree that establishing the run is good." So 2022 is all about unity, I guess. Should we end on that note here, or anything else you guys want to get off your chest here? Just let the good vibes ride us into week 17.
What are we doing with our DFS $1 million entries? Are we going all in on our remaining best ball teams, or are we hedging them?
Ooh, hedging our DFS teams with our. So, what would that be for you, Mike? Would that be a Mark Andrews team?
Yeah, it would have to be Mark Andrews for sure. No Kittle, fading.
And
Cobb.
I mean, that's a
Did you-
pretty fun game to stack up. So
Yeah. Mike, how do you rank? I don't know if ETR has your GPP scores, game scores out yet, but how do you
we
rank?
don't even have our projections out yet. It's COVID just puts us behind a day or two.
What's your
the new
gut,
COVID
though?
stuff is like, oh man.
How
people are
would
coming
you
in and
rank
out.
those games for as far as like DFS fantasy shootout appeal? Because there's like 4 or 5 legit ones that could pop off.
Well, I think like Dallas, Arizona might be the best just because the pace is going to be so fast where like if they're able to be efficient it could get real nutty, just because they're going to run at such a fast pace that it could get super crazy. Green Bay, Minnesota's not on the slate because that's a pretty good one just because of the concentration.
Cincinnati, KC.
Oh yeah,
me,
yeah.
That's one that could go like I think you want Cincy jumping out, or I mean Kansas City jumping out to an early lead in that one because they're going to throw kind of no matter what, and then just to keep pushing Cincy, who's just you just never know what Cincy's going to do.
Cincy's slow too, so they do need to be put. It's not just that they tend to be run first; it's that they're slow as well.
Yeah.
It does seem like, just looking at some of the early DFS projections, that of all those quarterbacks in the shootouts, that people do not feel good clicking Kyler these days.
That might be the guy then. I feel like the Kansas City Cincy game is a little bit more of a trap. I'd rather be in on the Dallas Arizona game. We could play the guys that didn't do well last week. We could play Kyler. We could play CeeDee Lamb. I mean,
you know what that game feels like to me, Leone, a little bit? It's like that Steelers game that we talked about a while back. That's I think that game fails a lot, the Dallas game. But when it hits, it's gonna really, really hit. To your point about the pace, the two offenses pushing each other. I'm pretty nervous about Dallas' defense, which I think is really legit. Kyler's accuracy's been way low since he returned from injury. But if he's right, it could be big.
Yeah, and I think KC Cincy could sneaky fail, and I'm just assuming Cincy's going to have so much steam after last week, and then the fact that they're playing KC.
What about the Rams? They're pass first. Baltimore's a huge pass funnel right now. They can't stop anyone. They've allowed the most. They're tied with the Jets for the most 15+ yard passes allowed this season. I mean, you could go deep with Van Jefferson and OBJ. You could. There could be a ton of passing points on the Rams this week.
Yeah, and Michelle could see 90% of the touches.
Easy.
Yeah.
Is Akers going to play?
I think they might mix him in for a couple snaps, but the word was that if he's active for 3 games this year, then he accrues a season towards his NFL pension. So it's basically like a solid move by the Rams for activating him in the regular season. It seems like they're not really interested in playing him until the playoffs.
Yeah.
3 games? Don't we only have 2 left?
Well,
they activated him. He was on the active roster last week.
Oh, so 17 and 18 count. So he'll get the 3. Got it.
So he has 16. He needs 17, 18. Yeah.
Who is even their other running back on the roster?
Funk.
Though?
Yeah.
Funk they brought up. Okay. Yeah.
He actually got a touch last week. I was confused. I saw his name in the box score. So he must have actually been active.
Yeah, he went backwards.
Yeah, you don't have to be game day active, by the way. They just have to have him on the active roster. Akers, I mean.
I'm trying to see what else. Can Davis Mills keep playing well and push San Fran at all? I don't know. If we get some more Brandon Cooks magic, probably not.
Is Eli Mitchell going to be back?
I thought I saw
he's limited today, I think.
Yeah.
That's going to be a tough read. If he is active, how to project that split
Just
between him and Wilson.
Just fucking playing Elijah Mitchell. We've just determined Kyle Shanahan loves him after what happened with the broken hand when I lost betting unders on his receiving when we've been over this. When the reports where he was going to have the club on his hand was the joke you were saying, Peter.
Yeah,
and he just played every down no matter what. I'm playing Elijah Mitchell if he's back.
What is your take on Debo if Mitchell's back?
I've been kind of on the. I feel like people have overreacted to this whole Debo's running back, so now he's not getting the same targets thing. And we saw last game, it's I don't know. I think Debo's stuff doesn't change a whole ton. He's gonna get a few less carries maybe, but
I kind of like the running back stuff if it's Lance, right? Because it's you're taking some ceiling off, but you're getting a little more floor. I'm thinking maybe more season-long stuff, not a GPP mindset, but
yeah.
Do we have any confirmation on who's going to be Baltimore quarterback this week?
We're guessing Lamar right now. He got in a limited practice. I saw some video where he looked like he could barely walk, but
Jesus.
That's what I'm guessing right now. And he man, yeah, talk about quarterbacks with high ceilings that could not get played between him and Kyler.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting.
But Huntley's back off the COVID list, so he'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's going to be. And I'm also curious, like a whole other thing too is, people got scared off of drafting Jonathan Taylor when Wentz, was out at the beginning of the season. That was partly why his ADP dipped. Now you have Wentz out this week.
No, Wentz will be back.
Well, the new rules, he's probably going to be back.
We think?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. They said he's starting if he clears, and he'll probably clear because he just needs
it's like to clear, it's like, is the team going to report he has symptoms?
That's exactly right. He doesn't need to test out. So they decide if he has symptoms. Yeah, he's playing.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Then we don't have to worry about Sam Ehlinger handing off to Carson Wentz.
Thank goodness.
I mean, was the threat of Carson Wentz passing doing anything for Taylor anyway?
Yes. I think so. Compared to
look at Sam Ehlinger, yeah.
Look how bad it can get with the Giants. Yeah. You just see these offenses. The Saints. It can get so much worse.
Yeah. It's doing the projections and having to see kind of projecting overs on some of these quarterbacks and having to double check them because they're just breaking my model. They're so bad. It can. It's tough. And then you have someone like Davis Mills who's put it together the last few weeks and it's actually been semi-competent. But yeah, I mean, these quarterbacks that you just don't know on the range from they're either at best mediocre or at worst mega bad.
People were indignant that people even burned a draft pick in Dynasty on Davis Mills and Superflex, and he's going to end up being worth more than Trevor Lawrence in the end.
No, don't say that. God. It's so funny of Davis Mills in my head. I just assume he's a journeyman quarterback on his 8th team on the Texans. I don't even think of him as a rookie.
I know.
Ben, anything else on your wish list for week 17?
No sweats this week for me at all. I mean, we got the one completely locked up.
Oh my God.
And so
God damn it.
Feeling good. I'm really excited about the playoff contest that we'll be back on
I am excited about that.
The week after next.
Yeah.
1 week at a time. Be in the present.
Be in the present.
I mean, I don't have any huge sweats.
No, actually, Ben shouldn't be in the present because he keeps trying to jinx our team. Please look ahead.
No huge sweats. No $28,500 on the line.
What if
good.
I swear to God, if this is close.
I'm just picturing one of Ben's girls tossing him a bottle of champagne right now. No, that was actually supposed to be for next
pops
week.
It.
Yeah, he pops it right now.
It's all the bad karma.
I saw Silas said, yeah. So next week, the programming is, we bring on the ship chaser who takes down one of these big prizes. And then as Gretch alluded to, week 18, post week 18, we'll get our full programming schedule out to you guys. We're going to probably firm that up next week, but I think we're lining up for 5 straight days of FFPC shows. Yeah. Playoff shows.
Yeah. 5 straight days.
When you said as Gretch alluded to, I thought you were going to take my side and say we'll be celebrating the NFC because you were so.
That would have been a nice heel turn.
It's gonna build to the Friday night show with us 4 and Dink, where we have drinks and we tell Dink what we've been working on all week, and then he gives us the nut play. And then we
laugh. And we say we're not playing Gronk. Okay.
Between the Gronk and Juju, okay, I'm still pissed about Juju. Thank God I had Hassan in the comments on my side.
We got him on one team, I think.
All right, guys. Leone, thank you for joining us this evening. Good luck in the FFPC playoff best ball contest. Gretch, I was listening to you and Sean over on Stealing Bananas today. You guys are still putting out some great episodes over there. Anything else you'd like to plug?
Nope. Done with Stealing Signals for the year. No more of the weekly stuff. I'll be doing some off-season stuff. But yeah, no, nothing else really.
Pat, big walkthrough this week. I need you dialed in. Need to have the good nuggets ready for DFS this week.
I got some good nuggets on paper already. Big writing days tomorrow. Going to be a good walkthrough.
All right.
Nice.
That's what we like to hear. Leone, of course, will be around doing the GPP content this week. Make sure that is a part of your preparation. I will be back tomorrow doing Splash Play. Corain's actually going to join us, Spags and I, 2:30 p.m. Over on my channel. But good luck to everyone in week 17. Truly very fun seeing all of your sweats, all of your sick teams. Best of luck to you all. We will celebrate officially next week.